Hello all, and welcome to the pre-match predictor for Week 5 of the 2025-26 Premier League season. Last week, I returned to 5 for 10 with my predictions, so hopefully I can improve on that. Our first matchup of this game week is Liverpool versus Everton. I think that Liverpool beat Everton 2-1. Everton were held to 0 goals, although they were creating a lot of chances offensively in their last game, while Liverpool also did the same against Burnley, although they were able to win a late penalty and win the game. I think that both sides will be back and forth offensively, but Liverpool will come out as the winners. Next is Spurs versus Brighton. I think this game will end in a 1-1 draw as Spurs beat a poor West Ham side 3-0, while Brighton narrowly lost to a strong Bournemouth side in their last games. I think they will both be evenly matched, and this is why it will be a draw. Next is Burnley versus Forest, and I think this game will also end in a 1-1 draw. Burnley held their own against last year's champions Liverpool in their last game, except for a late penalty that cost them the game. Forest were weak against Arsenal, although I think this was down to the new manager trying to figure out his players. I think that Burnley will continue their defensive form, while Forest will still be figuring things out, and this will lead to the draw. Next is West Ham versus Palace, and I think that Palace will beat West Ham 3-0. As I've said before, West Ham is poor defensively, and Palace have been great in their attack. Although Palace were held to 0 goals last week, they created a lot of chances, and they were against Emi Martinez, who is making a lot of great saves. Next is Wolves versus Leeds, and I think this game will end in a 0-0 draw. Wolves and Leeds have struggled for goals so far this season, with both teams not scoring in 3 out of 4 of their games played so far. And I think both these teams have a good chance of being relegated this season, and I think that neither team will be able to find a winning goal in this match. Next is Chelsea versus Man United. I think that Chelsea will win 2-0, as United have been terrible this season except for a few moments here and there, while Chelsea have been holding their own in their games, if not winning their games. I think that Chelsea will be able to break through United's shaky defense and create chances offensively, especially if Cole Palmer plays majority of the game. Next is Fulham versus Brentford, and I think that Brentford will beat Fulham 1-0. Fulham have finally pulled out their first win of the season against Leeds, while Brentford barely pulled off a win against Chelsea. However, Brentford's draw against Chelsea was deserved, where Fulham's not so much. I think that Brentford will be able to put in a decent performance against Fulham, who will struggle offensively, and be able to come away with the win. Next is Bournemouth versus Newcastle, and I think that Bournemouth will win 2-1. Bournemouth have been great so far this season in the Premier League, even in their loss against Liverpool. Newcastle, on the other hand, have struggled a bit, and I think that Bournemouth will come away with the win. Next is Sunderland versus Villa, and I think that Sunderland will win 1-0. Sunderland have had a decent season so far, considering they are one of the teams that have thought to have been in the relegation battle this season. There's still a lot to go, but they still have the chance of being relegated compared to the other teams in the league, although they might stay up. Villa have not scored a Premier League goal so far, and I do not think Sunderland will allow that to happen this week. And with Rolfs putting in a great performance in goal, I think that Sunderland will be able to pull off the win. Finally is Arsenal versus City, and I think that Arsenal will beat City 2-1. Arsenal have been the better of the two teams this season, and I think that will show in this game. City have been struggling a bit and getting their wins against other struggling sides. Arsenal have dominated, or at least held their own in their games, and I think this will be a close game, but Arsenal will come away the winners. I do place bets on my predictions, and if all of the predictions wins, I will give one random subscriber or follower from one of the different platforms 10% of my winnings. Thank you for watching.